Yo, Madden Elite, what is up? Bradley here. We're at it with another wire. I hope everyone has had a good week. It's been an interesting week in Elite. Still waiting on the scouting update. Probably not gonna get that until towards the later half of next month. Until then, we're running a fantasy league. I got the fantasy league up on the console right now. This fantasy league kind of feels like a miss to me. I feel like it could be more, but like there are a lot of issues at the launch of it, and like for a lot of people in the league, I think it's just kind of like something to keep them busy. We're not putting a lot of stock into it. Right now, we got like 5 guys that have played, and advance is scheduled for tonight. Probably won't be until tomorrow morning because I'll be working third shift, and the companion app is trash and it don't work. But it's like this is playing like 2 weeks behind. So we're a little handicapped in what we can do as far as league management goes. But I mean, it's fine. Like this is basically just busy work week. Looking at this though, like check this out. Look at that. Look at them Vikings. 3-0. Them Vikings are 3-0. They won their most recent game against Seahawks 52-7. I believe that Seahawks owner is dead. Or not Seahawks, but I believe the Vikings owner is Hernandez. I believe that's the case. So he's got a lot of hype around him right now in the community, and he's shown himself pretty strong here in the fantasy league. So be cool to watch how the rest of his journey here in the fantasy league plays out. I for one am excited to see it. So we'll see how that goes. We talk about the fantasy league though. I'm honestly looking beyond the fantasy league. I'm looking ahead of what am I looking to? Well, I'm obviously looking ahead towards our Elite League and also the IC League, right? I am ready for the scouting update right now because I want to get these leagues rolling. I believe that we are going to have an incredible cycle. I think a lot of people in our community, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what? I'm just gonna skip that point. I'm gonna skip that thought. We're gonna move ahead. But looking ahead to our league, so I took some time and put together a collection of graphics, basically predicting predicting our playoffs, how I think the first season playoffs are going to go. So I want to take a moment to kind of go through these and talk about it. Looking at the Elite League, I think Zell is going to have an incredible first season. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to win the AFC North. I think he's going to go into the playoffs with a wild card spot. Estrada, I think is going to win the AFC West. I got Jumper winning the AFC East. We got Rich winning the AFC South, AFC South, and then we got South, Beeman, and Bread winning wild cards. I think Bread is barely going to edge into the playoffs. However, in the end of the day, I think he's barely going to edge into the playoffs. But once he gets in the playoffs, Bread's not the best regular season team. Once he gets in the playoffs, I think this is going to be Bread's cycle. I think what we saw from him last cycle, that's not Bread. I think we're going to go back and see classic Bread. Bread's going to, I believe, get the conference championship season 1 and be representing the AFC in the first Super Bowl. Let's take a moment though. I want to take a moment though and really like break this down. Like when you really start breaking down Elite, right? There are a lot of high caliber teams that could be winning Super Bowls in other leagues, but because of how deep our league is, they may not even make playoffs. Looking at this, part of the reason I got Zell winning that first seed, that number 1 seed, one, his team is absolutely loaded. And then when we look at the AFC North, him and South are in there. They're tough as all get out. But beneath Zell and South, you've got T-Rob and P. Will. I believe both Zell and South are going to sweep both of those guys, and that's basically 4-3 wins, putting them in good position. The AFC West, Estrada winning the AFC West. He's in there in the AFC West with Mex, Jeff, and Brett. I think Brett's going to struggle in the regular season. I think he's barely going to edge into the playoffs. Mex and Jeff can't compete on the level of Brett and Estrada, though. I think Estrada's going to have a very much more consistent regular season 1. Thus, I believe he's going to walk away with the division. The AFC East, we got Jumper in there with Slow Ride, Bossman, and EZM. I had Zell on a show this past week, and Zell spoke really high of Bossman. In the past, Bossman has been successful going on what we saw from him last season, from last cycle. I don't think there's a way he competes with Jumper. Bossman's going to have to prove to us that he can return to classic form. I'm even going to say this. A lot of people give Bossman a lot of love. I give Bossman a lot of love. But I'm going to be honest. When I give Bossman love, sometimes I make statements, people are like, bro, just saying stupid crap. I'm not saying when I give Bossman love, it's me been saying stupid crap, but I do feel like when I've given Bossman love and spoken high of him, I feel like I feel like I had to take the few good things he did and stretch him out, right? Bossman's good when you stretch the logic. That's my thing. I think Bossman's a really good user. And if you're not careful, he's going to bait you into some INTs, some user INTs. But I just don't see Bossman competing at the highest of levels. I just don't see it. I think he's good. I think he'll surprise some people, but he needs to return to form. I think he got away from a lot of his bread and butter last cycle. I don't remember when and where, but I remember at one point late in the cycle, Bossman said something about he needed to go back to what he was comfortable and he needed big receivers. Classically, Boss usually does go after bigger receivers. Doesn't really look for the fast guy. Looks for the big guy, right? Creates mismatches in that avenue. I see Bossman trying to get more back to those classic principles. We'll see what happens though. Right now, though, looking at the division pre-go, pre-launch, it's Jumper's division to me. I think Jumper is going to be... Julian brought up a comparison when I had him on the ICS War Show this past week. Could Jumper be the next Orion? A lot of people right now in the league, they put Orion up on this massive pedestal, but that wasn't always the case. Because of one game and one game alone, the community as a whole totally did a 180 on their take on Orion. Right? And I believe there are people in the league that are just one person's opinion away from being viewed in the most established light or kind of thrown under the rug. I think Jumper is one user's opinion away from being validated. And just like Orion, how he was validated by one game, Jumper will be validated this cycle in Madden Elite. Mark it down. And the whole mentality of people validated by one game or by one person, we're going to get back to that in a little bit. The AFC South. This, I feel like, is my massive, okay, this is my out of the box prediction. This is what my gut tells me. My gut might be massively wrong, but I got rich in the AFC South. The AFC South is looking nasty. It's got Kanyu in it. It's got Sundance in it. It's got Beeman in it. We also have Beeman from the AFC South representing the wild card, representing the AFC in the wild card, right? So this means with Rich winning the AFC South and Beeman in the wild card, this means that we have Beeman and Kanyu both missing the playoffs. Konyu won our last Super Bowl in the league. Sundance is put up on a massive pedestal, but like Sundance ain't showed nothing at all in Elite. So like I haven't seen anything from Sundance. I really haven't seen anything to make me believe that Sundance has really bought into what we're doing. As far as I'm concerned, like, he's just approaching this as a second league that he doesn't care about. And maybe that mentality's wrong, but when guys have that mentality about certain leagues, they don't perform, right? So, like, if Sundance wants respect in Elite, like, he's got to prove it. That's all there is to it. And you might be like, oh, Rich hasn't shown anything. You got Rich winning the division. What I've seen from Rich leads me to believe that Rich is bought in, and I believe Rich is hungry and wants it. And Rich, for the most part, is a lot more unknown than the other guys in this division. But I've heard nothing but good about him. I've heard nothing but good about Rich, and from what I hear, Rich can go. Konyu. When you look at Kanyu's team last cycle, his Eagles last cycle, that team was basically from the ground up totally revamped. Almost nobody on the original stock team was on that team by the end of the season. Konyu made that team his own. Coming into this out of the box, I believe there's a lot of work Kanyu's going to have to do to the Eagles. Having Konyu miss the playoffs in season 1 isn't a slight on Konyu at all. Konyu will be in the playoffs by the end of the cycle. Konyu will have multiple playoff appearances by the end of the cycle. I believe Konyu may even have multiple Super Bowl appearances by the end of the cycle. Season 1's not it though. Season 1, what I'm expecting from Konyu, I believe he's going to come in. He's going to have to make that team his own. Remember last cycle, his Super Bowl team, almost nobody was on it. Almost nobody of the Eagles out of the box were on that team when he won that Super Bowl. So Konyu needs time, I think, to build this team. Beeman's probably the best player in the league. Like, looking at last cycle, Beeman was the best player in the league. The team is young, though. Seahawks are a much different beast than the Jaguars, so he's going to have a different situation. I believe the situation is going to be similar to Konyu. He's going to need time to build this team. I believe Beeman building this team is going to be a lot quicker than Konyu building the Eagles. I'm expecting by like season 2, like he's going to have like Trevor Lawrence like 99 overall, and he'll have the team ready to go season 2. So we got Rich winning the AFC South season 1. He might not win it again through the rest of the cycle. We'll have to see what he goes in Sundance. I feel like I've already spoken my piece on Sundance. He's got to prove it, right? And looking at the wildcard teams, Beeman, we got him winning a wildcard spot. I believe South will be one of the first teams to secure a playoff spot. We already mentioned, I believe Zell and South will both have 4 free wins in their division. I believe South could land this wildcard spot with 12 wins. South is going to be uncontested in securing this wildcard spot. Beeman, I believe he'll have it locked down. As far as Bread winning the wildcard spot, I could see Bread playing until like week 18 or whatever the final week in the season is to lock down that spot. Bread, he's just not a consistent regular season team. But once he hits playoffs, he's going to click it on. And I have a theory, right? I got a lot of crap for the love I gave Bread last cycle. I have a theory, and a lot of people might just totally reject this theory, but I believe Bread tanked in the playoffs last cycle. You might be like, no. But hear me out. Well, actually, I don't really have a big defense for this theory, but it is my theory with some of the conversations that I had with Bread. I believe he really, his mentality last cycle, I don't believe at all was, I'm going to win me Bulls. I believe his mentality was last cycle, okay, let's get this league rolling and build a foundation. With the conversations I had with Bread last cycle, I entirely believe it is 100% possible that Bread laid down for some of you Super Bowl winners in the playoffs. J-Mac, right? J-Mac, you both, like, your playoff run, like, you both, like, the beginning of that playoff run, like, you beat Bread in the wild card spot. Bread gave it to you, J-Mac. Bread gave it to you. And, like, that a lot of people may think that that's completely out of the box, but I'm telling you, with conversations I had with Bread last cycle, I really believe that's the case. I think Bread laid down in the playoffs last cycle for the betterment of the league. Bread, if you're listening to this, and I'm sure you will, I want you to know it's okay. When the playoffs roll around, it's okay. It's time, Bread, that you turn on that switch, you flip on that switch, and you get yourself the Elite World Super Bowl Championship of the world. Your name needs added to that belt. Make it happen. Okay, the league's established. It's time. Do something in the playoffs for me. So, we've talked about the AFC. Let's look at the NFC. NFC North, we got Fun Guy winning the NFC North, securing the number 1 seed. Oh, hang on. We need to go back to this for a second. If you notice on that Bread wildcard spot at the bottom, CC Conference Champion. Okay, he's going to win the Conference Championship and he's going to represent the AFC and the Super Bowl. Flipping over to the NFC though. Fun Guy, NFC North, number 1 seed. Debo, we got Debo winning the NFC South. Orion, we got winning the NFC West. Show Cold, we have winning the NFC East. Cobra, we have securing the wild card spot and winning the conference championship, representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. True Talent, we have a wild card spot, and Lou, we have a wild card spot. Let's break this down. So, Fun Guy winning the NFC North. Last cycle, Fun Guy found a new gear, and I believe he stays true to form. I could see early on in the cycle, I could see Fun Guy getting off to a slow start, right? I could see Fun Guy starting like 2-0 or 0-2, 0-3 or something like that. But once he finds his groove with this Vikings team, because he's been playing a lot of mutt, right? Once he finds his groove with this Vikings team, he's going to turn it on, and we're going to, I think, see the same dominance that we saw last cycle. The NFC South. The NFC South is a tough division. Gaming Powerhouse, Jew, Alex, and Debo. All 4 of these guys, I believe, are playoff caliber teams. Yes, I said all 4. That means I believe that Gaming Powerhouse is a playoff caliber team. I believe we're going to see GPH flip on a new gear this cycle. Jew can compete. Alex can compete. Debo can compete. I see Debo. I think Debo's probably the hungriest out of this group of guys. So that's why I'm going with Debo. And a lot of people, I already seen some reactions when I posted these graphics. People were like, Brad, you went with Debo over Alex? You remember when we were talking about Jumper and I said I believe that there are some people that are one person's opinion away from the entire view of that owner being skewed? I think Alex is one of those guys. Alex gets a lot of love. He went to 1 Super Bowl in the league. Beyond that 1 Super Bowl last cycle, what did he do? In that 1 Super Bowl, might I add, it is highly suspected that he quit in the middle of the game. Like, the game wasn't even over. He still had a chance to come back, and he made no effort. And I believe he's even on record saying that. So why would I go with someone like that? Why would I put my stock in that basket? Orion, 1 game completely shifted people's opinions on him. You take away the Super Bowl from Orion, right? There is 0 chance people would give him the love and the respect that he's deserved, that he is owed. And like me saying that, like, that's not a hate on him. Remember, when he won that Super Bowl, I was the only person that said he would. I believe by the end of the cycle, Orion will yet again be in another Super Bowl, and Orion very well could be the first ever 2-time Elite World Super Bowl champion of the world. But we're not talking about Orion right now. We're talking about Alex. I believe Alex is 1 game away from people removing all stock they have in him. I believe Alex is 1 person's opinion away from everyone's view of him shifting. The opinion of one person can heavily shift the league's entire mentality on somebody. And like I believe Alex is someone that benefits very much from certain people having a high regard for him. Alex gets a lot of love from guys like Chuck and Beeman. If Chuck and Beeman didn't give Alex the love that they do, I don't think anybody in the league would put the stock in him that they do. I think Alex is overhyped. And it's well documented. There are times Alex literally will just quit in the middle of the game when the game's not over. Like, there were literally league streams. Like, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm saying this. There were times when Alex was featured on a league stream last year. We had, like, all kinds of people viewing the stream as a commentary stream. All kinds of people viewing the commentary stream. And he quit in the middle of the game. I had people inboxing me being like, yo, man, this ain't a good look for the league. This guy quitting in the middle of this game. You know who's not going to quit in the middle of a game and who's hungry as all get out and is completely dedicated to winning a Super Bowl in Elite this cycle? Debo. Alex, if you're listening to this, maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, prove me wrong, shut me up. But like, I haven't seen, nothing I've seen from you, Alex, leads me to believe you're going to win a bowl in Elite this cycle. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I would put Debo in a list of the top 10 guys I believe could win a Super Bowl in Elite. And I'm gonna be honest, I like Debo a lot, right? So like maybe I'm just like overhyped on him, you know? Maybe I'm biased towards him, but it is what it is. We got Orion winning the NFC West. NFC West is, Jimbo's not gonna like it, but it's a two-team division, right? We got Cobra in there, we got Orion in there. They're gonna split it. They're gonna split it. I could see Orion winning it 3 times, Cobra winning it twice. Jimbo made comments when these graphics were posted. Oh, the disrespect! I'm gonna make people regret it. There's gonna be repercussions or something like that. Meh. Jimbo, I think you could win a wild card spot at sometime this cycle. It's not going to be season 1 though. Maybe it could be season 1. Actually, Jimbo, now that like I'm thinking about it, I would give you maybe like a 15% chance of winning a wild card spot in season 1. That's a pretty good chance, right? 15% chance. I think that's a pretty good percent chance. Get it done, man. Get it done. The NFC East. The NFC East. So when we did the AFC South, I felt like Rich was kind of like a wild card for me, right? Like, I felt like it was a leap of faith for me to go with Rich. Here in the NFC East, I feel like it's another leap of faith, me going with Chokehold. He's in there with J-Mac, JTG, Mancha. I don't really know what to expect from Mancha. JTG, there are people that put him in high regard, but he's a guy like Sundance. Okay, yeah, you can go, like you can compete, but will you compete? Are you invested? Are you hungry? I can tell you the majority of the guys in our league are desperately hungry. And when we look at that division, I mean, you got J-Mac and Chokehold in there. To me, when I look at this division, Cho, J-Mac, JTG, Mancha, I'm immediately writing off JTG and Mancha, and it's between Chokehold and J-Mac. In this division is probably the one that I honestly felt the most uneasy about. I was the most uncomfortable with it. There are people that put Show up on like the highest of regards. Personally, I haven't seen it. I've seen flashes from him. Then we got J-Mac in there, right? Who won a bowl last cycle. However, you compare the division he was in last cycle to the division he is in this cycle, I believe all three of his division mates, Choco, JTG, and Mancha, will outperform his three previous division mates. I think by the end of the cycle, J-Mac will find his groove and he'll be back to the form we saw last cycle. I believe, though, starting out season 1, it's going to be a shock. It's going to be a shock for him. It's going to be a completely different ball game. I think he's going to have to adjust the level of competition he's about to get hit with. So out of the box, season 1, we got Chokehold, and then moving forward, this division's probably the biggest wild card for me. We'll have to see how it develops. Looking at the wild card spots, we got Cobra, we got True Talent, and we got Lou. I think Cobra's going to run away with it. Similar to South in the AFC, I believe he's probably going to hit the wild card, right? He's going to hit the wild card and could do it possibly with 12 wins, right? Orion, 12 wins is probably a stretch. He'll 10 wins. Cobra will get the wild card spot with 10 wins. Solid 10 wins, easy 10 wins. Probably 10 plus wins. True and Lou, though. I believe after that number 1 wild card spot, I believe the NFC wild card spots are going to be wide open. I believe there's going to be a lot of guys in the hunt. And going with True and Lou here, I believe out of the guys that will be in the high, I think they're just the two most consistent guys that will be there in the hunt. So they're the guys I'm going with for the wild card spots. The Super Bowl, though, we got Cobra repping the NFC in the Super Bowl. Shifting gears. Looking at the IC League. We're going to go through this a lot quicker. I don't really have as much to say about the IC League because really some of these picks were me like stretching and leaning on guys that I know, because a lot of guys in this league are unknown. There are a lot of guys in IC that felt disrespected by these rankings. To those who felt disrespected, remember, like, the league hasn't even started. There are so many unknown variables in this league, right? I was literally grasping at straws with some of this stuff. I'll tell you who I was not grasping at straws with is Masoon, the AFC North, the guy I have predicted as both the number 1 seed and representing the IC AFC in the Super Bowl. Masoon, according to his survey, and it has been confirmed by Dez, has won 20 Super Bowls in one cycle. Masoon, it's multiple Super Bowls or busts for you. Okay, I'm gonna be straight honest with you. It's multiple Super Bowls or busts. I want to see you win at least 2 IC Super Bowls. Okay, get it done, make it happen. Frank, we got Frank and his Jets winning the AFC East. Frank is a consistent owner. He's a cornerstone of it. He's a cornerstone of any league he's in, both as like an active owner and also on the sticks, right? Frank, he's going to run away with the AFC East, in my opinion. The AFC South is probably the division I know the most in this league, right? And that's, we got Julian in it. Julian, my guy. We got Jumper, my guy. Myself is in it, and we got Lando in it. I literally have, and a big part of this is like the league's just unknown to me. There are so many unknown factors in it. I literally have 3 teams from this division in the race. We got Jumper winning the AFC South. We got Julian landing a wild card spot. I don't know a lot about Lando, but a lot of the guys in the community know Lando very well and put him in a high regard, so we gave him the wild card spot. So we got Jumper, Julian, and Lando all from the AFC. Did I say AFC South? It's AFC West. We got those 3 guys in there, and then we got AJ bringing in the last wild card spot. Really though, like, the 2 guys that really jump out to me the most in the AFC is Masoon, with the hype that he has around him, with the claim of 20 Super Bowls in one cycle, and Frank from just what I know from him, of him. Flipping over to the NFC side of things, we got Who Is Dez winning the AFC West and the number 1 seed. We got Lone Star coming in as the NFC North champion. I've known Lone Star for a very long time, right? I've known Lone Star for a very long time. He will compete for bowls. He is one. Probably I would put Lone Star top 5 smartest Madden players I've ever come across. I put them top 5 smartest Madden players I've ever come across. I think that's going to boil over. I could very well see Lone Star representing the NFC in the IC Super Bowl Season 1. And a big part of that, it's not disrespect to anybody else. It's who I know, right? To me, it's a safe pick. Though this NFC, to me, right now, looking at it on paper, it's coming down to Who's Des and Lone Star. And if you're in IC and on the NFC side of things and you're insulted by that, just know this league is unproven. Make a name for yourself. Going through the rest of it, Jimbo, NFC South. Jimbo did go to the playoffs some. In our first cycle in Elite, it's a safe pick. Shada, the NFC East. I don't really know. I got Shada winning the NFC East. I don't really know a lot about Shada, but I believe in the IC is War episode 1 that I did with Julian, I believe Julian mentioned that he's familiar with Shada, and I believe my memory serves right. Put him in high regard. We got Rack winning a wild card spot. Don't know a lot about Rack, but what I do know about Rack, he's been involved in CFMs for a decade, so he's got the experience. Buck, wild card spot. Again, going off the IC is War episode, Julian says, I believe Julian listed Buck as the guy that he's played against in Super Bowls in various leagues. And then B-Law, we got him landing the last wildcard spot. Don't know a lot about him, but I do know he's Debo's homie. Debo in Elite, he's his homie. And I believe, if my memory serves right, I believe somewhere as I read, B-Law has played competitive or been in the top 100 in various points in time. And I might totally be making that up or skewing him with somebody else, but I believe that's the case. But regardless if that is the case, I'm expecting him to compete at a high level. So, that felt like was a lot. My throat is a bit hoarse from that. It's a bit sore from that. Ultimately, though, looking at both leagues on paper, the level of competition is immense. And like looking at IC or looking at Elite, there are literally multiple Super Bowl caliber guys that I have not even making playoffs. And like, it's not really even a disrespect to anybody. I know guys will take it that way, but it's not. If anything, it's a compliment to the level of competition that we have in the league, and the competition is only going to get more rich as we bring up guys, as we end up bringing up guys like Whoizez and Masoon from the IC league into the main league. Whoizez, Masoon, I got both of you guys on deck right now, right? I got both of you guys on deck right now. When it comes to Elite, we want the highest level of competition possible. Whoizez pretty much has the spot on lock. Next spot that comes open is most likely going to be Whoizez. And then beyond that, I would say I'm putting Masoon right now in high regard with the claim of the 20 Super Bowls in one cycle, but it's wide open. IC, make your name. That's what I would have to say to IC right now. Make your name. And honestly, that statement goes beyond just the level of competition, right? Because like Elite, like our community, it's about more than just sticks. We put out a high level of media. Make a name for yourself. I'm excited for both leagues. Elite, we're going to kill it. IC, let's turn some heads. What I want from IC more than anything, I want it to turn heads, right? I want the league to turn heads. IC, I want you to turn heads. This time, next cycle, I want IC viewed in the same regard as Elite, and we're going to make that happen. Everyone who checked this out, check this video out, thank you. Much love to you. Good luck to everybody. Peace.